Hey guys, it's Amy and Vince with the second episode of the Par-loveshack. Welcome to today's podcast.
Yeah, look at
Today we are shooting from our house. This is the lake that we live on currently. This is our cottage.
absolutely. This is a lovely little crooked lake in Brighton, Michigan, and we're happy to have you today. So, what's today's topic?
Today's topic is mindset.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a fan favorite of mine.
And I see you have your Never Relax shirt on, Vince.
Yep.
Today?
Never relax is one of my everyday mindsets that I use. So, mindset. You know, what exactly does that mean? I mean, listen, life is, I think I even said this in the first episode, you know, life's 90% how you handle 10% of what happens to you. So it's you know, it's crazy in regards to if you think you can do something, and there's study upon study on this of people that have had a positive mindset about something, from shooting free throws all the way through just basic things in life, that they've had that, you know, about them, and good things happen to them. So
I think that you are a great person to talk all the time about mindset. You push me on a daily basis to be better, because I have a tendency to be sort of the one that's a little bit more reserved. I have to think about things 20 times, go over scenarios in my head, where you're really good at just doing it. So I think we balance each other out, because you push me to a whole nother level that I didn't even think I had in me. But I think you also sometimes are so quick and so fast and so driven that sometimes quick decisions or rashness or maybe too soon.
yeah.
So I think we figured out a good balance.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I always call it, I try to determine what people are percent and go. I'm 60% and go. I'm of the opinion that I want to analyze or think about something for 60% of the thought process that it probably needs, and then I balance this out by executing and then making you know, decisions and changes during the execution phase. There are some people that need to be 90%. You know, they need to think about it. You know, and those yeah. So those people, you know, typically have an artsy mind, an accounting mind, an actuary mind. You know, that type of mind. IT folks are like that. You know, there's you know, almost gets to a point where it's paralysis by analysis. You know, and you know, those folks need me in their life to push them. Okay, but
Yes.
then the balance is that she needs to say, hey, hold up for a second, we need to take a look at this from a different angle and things of that nature. So I think that's the proper balance that you're looking for.
But I think too that you are okay with your mindset is so forward thinking that you're okay with the possibility of failure, because
Yeah.
because you just drive, where I am so worried about failing in certain areas that it will prevent me from doing something because I'm afraid I'm going to fail at it.
Yeah, I fail 10 times a day,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with it. And
Yeah.
I think, I think you hit it right on the head, right? You know, it's you're okay with, you know, making the small changes to make it better. You know, look at what we did today, setting up this shoot.
Oh, geez.
You know what I mean? We started in three or four different, you know, areas. The sun wasn't right. It was too warm. It was too humid. We found the shade. We wanted more of the lake in it. You know what I mean? And heck, you know, we failed 5 times on this shoot.
Yeah,
today.
that's true.
You know?
I think in some of it, like for example, because I started in the mortgage business just in really the beginning of the year, your famous words are, you need at-bats, Amy. You need several at-bats. Not everyone's going to be perfect. Not every scenario is going to work out, and that's okay. You need to have several of them in order to
Yeah.
either be successful at, fail at, learn from, and then move on.
Yeah.
So that's been challenging for me, but mind-opening too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's you know, in the full fledged what we're talking about here, and total transparency is that we were talking over an application in the kitchen today, and or yesterday, you had a breakdown. I mean, it's just like I can't do it that fast. I can't, and I'm just like, it's this, and this. Well, that comes with 28 years of experience in the mortgage business. You know what I mean? I flow, through all the spots of, what it is to make a decision to, give somebody a mortgage. And it just comes second nature to me. Much like, let's just talk about this real quick, much like very early on in raising our kids, I gave up on the whole, when you knew they didn't feel well. I'd look at them and go, oh, they're fine. Rub some dirt on it. Come on, let's go. And you're like, no. This one's real. And it only took a couple of those, and lo and behold, take the kid's temperature. It's got 103 temperature. From that standpoint, it didn't look any different. Kids didn't look any different to me. So anyway, so there's just things you pick up on that you're good at, I'm good at, and be okay with that other person, being good at those things.
So how do you think? Having parents that, speaking of kids, having parents that you tend to be the 110% driver, and I would say I'm a driver as well, just not to the nth degree that Vince is. But how do you think that fits with each of our kids? Like, how do you think mindset, how have we tried to instill that in them, and how do you see each of them kind of rising up or not rising up to it, etc.?
Yeah, geez, each one's different, right? Mm-hmm. Our oldest female is, eats nails, right? And Rocco, our middle child, is more like you, right? More subdued, and from that standpoint, and needs, more of. And we even talk about this, you're like, hey, talk to Gianna about this, because I can have that tougher conversation with her the way I converse with people. And I'll even say, hey, listen, maybe we should talk to Rocco about this. And our youngest, Evelina, is probably a mixture of the two. I'm probably leaning more towards Rocco, right? Right. But she's still tough as well, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, you kind of take, the traits of, both sides of the mamas and the papas, and that's what your kids are made up of.
I think what's awesome is we have a family group chat, and Vince probably almost daily puts some kind of words of encouragement or a challenge or a frustration. Frustrations aren't that often,
right?
But more of a words of a go get 'em kind of day. Challenge days, I like those days when you're like, hey, this is what I'm doing today. Tell me what you're doing. And then he expects a response from everybody. This is how I'm winning today for me. And it could be as simple as our oldest finishing a college paper. It could be as awesome as our middle guy getting a job, or the youngest one, whatever, succeeding in a volleyball skill, whatever. It could be any of those things. But I really appreciate that part of what you do, because it makes everybody give a let's go attitude. So if it is kind of a crummy day, I wouldn't even know if you were having a crummy day. I mean, I think I know you pretty well after, but that helps, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's mindset, right? I wake up every day and I feel as though a winner's mindset is talking about all the positive things that are going on. I mean, and very simply, you could also find yourself, and we all have friends like this, right? Where you call them up and it's horrible, I don't feel well, the day is, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too rainy, it's not rainy enough. I mean, geez, oh Pete's, I mean, that drives me bonkers.
So don't you think that if you lead with positivity first off, it's always better than if you wake up and stub your toe and you're like, oh damn it, I'm gonna have a really crappy day, or nothing's going right. Well, maybe it isn't, but there's got to be something in your day that you have to stop and say, I'm going to change it, or I'm going to at least do this today to make a positive. I've been using the analogy, I'm moving the chains. Is that what I'm saying?
It's a football analogy.
Yeah, I'm moving the chains. Today I moved the change. So I have a really tough time on Mondays. Mondays are challenging for me because I tend to make I'm a big to-do list person. Huge to-do list. I start Sunday night and it goes into Monday. And by Monday at noon, I am almost anxiety ridden because I have so much stuff to do that I think I'm not going to get it all done. I'm not going to have enough time this week. And you gave me a good suggestion last week. You said, hey, do me a favor this week, Sunday, get your list together and maybe do one thing off of that list, whether it's returning business emails or hitting a couple things, hitting a couple people, getting your emails ready, send them out early Monday morning, whatever. Get a few things on your list that you can tackle on Sunday. So by Monday morning, when you wake up, you're not so anxious.
Yeah, I set my Monday up Friday, or I set my Tuesday up like it's Memorial Day weekend. I set my Tuesday up Saturday. We worked a little bit Saturday. Remember, we both kind of broke off, and because you knew it was the long week. Our business is always going 24/7, right? For the most part, and that's okay. I mean, we've kind of grown. Amy, before she got in the business, saw me do it for 20 some odd years. And it just is what it is. If you don't, that's what you sign up for. When you sign up for it, if you don't like that, don't sign up for it, or change, or do something different. So I look at it very early on in my career. I looked at it this way: is that I wake up every morning and I'm going to have 5 issues a day, and 5 issues. If I have 4, it's a great day. If I have 6, well, it was a little bit. It wasn't a bad day, but it was, but you got 5 issues to handle every single day. And the unfortunate thing is that typically issues don't give you, advanced warning. So, I mean, if you go into it with that mindset, you can't, the first thing, oh, there goes my day. That's a loser. That's a loser mentality. That's a loser mindset. A winner mindset is, okay, here's the, hey, listen, that's number 1. I only got 4 more to go.
Well, and you have a tendency, again, I'll refer to your Never Relax shirt, but that's your personality too, is you are naturally healed, put on gloves and just say, bring it. What else you got for me? Yeah. I can handle it. I can handle anything. What else you got? You just told me, I think last weekend, there is nothing, Amy, nothing that you and I can't handle.
There isn't.
And that's pretty profound as a married couple for somebody to say that to you. Granted, I already knew that you had my back and I have yours and all that good stuff, but that's pretty profound to say there's absolutely nothing can be thrown our way that we can't tackle together, that we can't overcome, make happen, rise up, fight, whatever. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I think couples shy away and families shy away from having the tough conversations. I mean, we talk about, I'm all the time, right? I'm sitting here right now. I'm going, hey, what happens if something happens to me? How are you going to, you've raised our kids, we've done great, we're healthy and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. What if I walk out in the street to get the mail and somebody runs me over and it's over? Right. I mean, and nobody wants that to happen, but that puts things in perspective. Now, Amy sits there and says, wow, heck, if I can do 3 loans a month, that pays the bills for the most part. I can sell this, I can do that. You obviously don't need the same things you are if you're together. You don't need 3 cars or 4 cars, 2 for the kids, and things of that nature. Maybe the kids got to go back to work or go to work earlier. We all get dealt those, those monumental things that happen in life. But once again, it's a mindset. What's the mindset? What's the winner mindset in regards to that? And it's talking about it, having a plan, and hopefully you don't have to execute. Same thing with contracts and plans. You know what I mean? And, 90% of them you don't typically ever use, but at least you've thought them out. You don't put hours into them. If A and B happen, I'm good. But if B doesn't happen, I better have a C and D ready. You know what I mean? Plan, yeah. From that standpoint. And, it goes back to the contracts. I had an attorney tell me one time, he goes, you're going to pay me a lot of money to make a contract between party A and party B. The best ones are the ones that you have the conversation about, right? And then put it in a drawer and never use, because you're talking about bad things. You're talking about a future divorce.
Which is uncomfortable.
Yeah, which is uncomfortable. So, Amy, you're going to come to work for me. If this happens and you leave, you can't do this, or if you leave, or if you do something fraudulent, you can't do this, and then I can do this to you. And, you lay all that out in writing, you both sign it, you put it in a drawer, and hopefully you never use it, right? Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I wanted to talk about, too, was this COVID. Like how this has been challenging. So we have been, the stay-at-home order has been since what, like March?
I think it's March, beginning of March. March 13th is the date that comes to my mind, but beginning of March, let's just call it.
So I'm working from home, but I was also at the time teaching at a Montessori school. And so our director came in and just said, "Hey, Amy, you're free to go. You got to go. We're shutting the school down." And I was like, "What?" So came home. Within 2 days, our junior in college, all her stuff got transferred to online. So she said, "Hey, I'm going to head home." Our son's public school shut down. He was then home, and he was off for about a month before online school started. Our freshman in high school went like a day off, and then boom, she was right into online school. So all of a sudden, we had a full house.
Yep.
I was home and trying to start this new career.
I never came home.
You never came home, but
stayed at
set
work.
up because there was a chance you were going to come home.
I had the ability to come home
Right.
if I had to. Yeah.
So, and then everything shut down. So it's been an interesting time for everyone, really, across not only the United States but other countries as well. But that part's been interesting to me because we had to change our total mindset. I went from what was a very busy sports schedule, school schedule, work schedule, to everybody's now in the comforts of our small cottage.
Yeah.
And then working online, having to take online exams. I'm having to take client calls. We're Zooming in for meetings.
Yep.
You set up like you were going to be home, but never ended up being at home. But
Yep.
you were dealing with the stress of sending his team home.
Yep.
And getting really, so mindset there was, holy cow, I can't believe this is happening. Now we're home. Now what do we do? So talk about that for a minute.
I mean, you've really talked about the whole thing. You set the whole thing up, but once again, I think a lot of people are out there struggling with this still. You know what I mean? Because of not necessarily having the right mindset coming into it. Now today's topic's mindset, and and I know there's other things that people come into, these issues, and they have, depression issues or things of that nature. Everybody, it's easy to talk about having a positive attitude and the right mindset. You know what I mean? And some people don't deal with loss or change or anything that's happens in life very well. Need some time to set in. You know what I mean? But my perspective on that is that, okay, I might need, the way my mind's set up is that I might need a half an hour if you just told me that our house burned down or something of that nature, and then I'm on to, okay, now what do we do? And I realize that you might need 2 weeks or a week. Case in point, the loss of your mother compared to the loss of my dad. Mm-hmm. We handled those. You became a caregiver for your mom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I became, I was really had to go back to work and figure that piece out. So, if you look at that, it's just, it's a different mindset. And, I say a winner's mindset is this and this and this, but, what I look at is not letting people, have 2 or 3 or 4 bad days in a row, because then that has the ability to set in long term. You got to get back up. You got to wipe yourself off. And you got to go to work and get back to what you're doing. So. Yeah,
I think I've said that to you before. I said, "Hey, aren't I allowed to have a bad day?" And you're like, "Yeah, you're absolutely allowed to have a bad day, Amy." When it starts turning into longer than one bad day, then we got problems. Yep. So have your bad day. Let everybody know you're having a bad day, and then move on.
Yep.
So I think you've done a great job with the whole COVID thing. I think every day when I've talked to you, you said, I said, "How'd today go?" Because he went from 60 to, how many people in your office?
6,000 people.
6,000 people to about 200 people in his office. And I'd say, "How'd your day go?" "It was awesome.
Oh.
I reached out to so-and-so and so-and-so, and I talked to this guy, and we're going to do this." And I was like, great. So then that made me feel inspired and ready. And I did a lot of educating and learning and making myself better in this business. So, and I think
it was good
that,
for you.
It was great for me, because I got some really good time to have some focus on, educating myself better in this business. So, and the kids have risen up too. I think it's, again, we set expectations. Listen, it shouldn't change. What you're doing shouldn't change. what the effort you're putting in. You should keep it that you do. You work out usually every day because of sports. Get outside, figure it out. Let's all, we're in it together. Our animals are loving it.
Yeah.
That we're all home. But anyways, it's been a challenging time, but a good family time too, I think.
Yep.
I've enjoyed that.
Well, let's look at it. We told everybody we keep these at 20 minutes. We can keep on going and on and on and on. But, I think one of the things that I just want to convey is that, whatever your mindset is, what's your winner mindset? Ask yourself that question. And it might be different. Just because mine is, 60% and go and you're 90% and go, doesn't make you a bad person or me a great person or me a bad person and you a great person. You know what I mean? It just is who you are. So, identify, relate to that and go and move the chains as my esteemed colleague says.
I love that. Move the chains.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Love you so much. Vince and Amy signing off from Little Crooked Lake today. Have a great day. See ya.
Bye-bye.